I hired 3 people to make simple versions of already existing games, but the catch is that I have no idea what game they've chosen. It's my job to correctly guess what game they're trying to make, but first I had to find the 3 people to make 3 different games. So I went to Fiverr. They delivered for me before, so I had no doubt they'll deliver for me again. I knew that finding a developer to make something for a relatively cheap price would be a bit of a challenge because they're making a game after all, but I'm also not trying to go broke, so I was searching around and found out that the lowest average was around £40, but I also wanted a mix of 3D and 2D games in this, so I knew that the 3D would be a bit more of a challenge to get for a cheap price. Luckily the first 3 people that I asked were pretty up for the idea. I'm giving them just free reign to do whatever they want to make. As long as I can get the idea, that's all I need. I just need something simple. Like if they made Flappy Bird, that's okay. So we have Cocoon, Julio Dev and Mateo. Thank you guys for helping me with this challenge. So let's see whether you and I can correctly guess what game you were thinking about when trying to make these. And trust me, there was a curveball in this one. Let me know what you guys were guessing down in the comments, and remember, every detail matters here. The first game was made by Cocoon, which I suspected would be the easiest one, because he conveyed to me it would be pretty obvious to guess it. Yeah, it was just a tiny bit obvious. Flying little guy. Okay, yeah, it's what I thought it would be. I'm sure you guys won't be able to guess what game this is, because it's quite a small game, not many people know about it. But thankfully I'm a gamer, so I knew exactly what game this was and I could recognize it easily. I want to at least reach like 10. That 11. Oh, I could have done so much better than that as well if I didn't panic. All I saw was double digits and then I was like, oh no. I hit that? Are you serious? I don't remember it being this hard. I feel like the original one, like the actual Flappy Bird, is a lot easier. So when he was making this game, I asked him whether he could make it a bit harder to guess, and honestly that was an impossible task for him. It could have been 2 rectangles and a circle, and it still would have been obvious. I kind of miss this era of mobile gaming. Like when people just do these dumb games, just try to get the high score, see how you do. 21? Oh my, I got a silver medal. I'm not taking anything else. I think I forgot to breathe in that moment. I think, yeah, it's easily Flappy Bird. Like there's no other game like this. Unless there is, maybe he's copying a copy of the original. So I locked in Flappy Bird, but I wouldn't know what the answer was until I guessed all 3 games. This next one was made by Julio Dev, and it was the one I was looking forward to the most. Not because I thought it would be the hardest one, but because I'm very familiar with 3D games. And there's also a bunch of different ways you could hide or give a hint as to what the actual game is, so I was looking forward to this one. This place is familiar. We even got like a tiny bit of story in that. More than I expected to get. Damn, this looks really good though. While this one didn't have a whole lot of gameplay, there was a lot to unpack just from this one level alone. I don't know if that start of the game was a reference to anything. He did tell me there would be a hint at the start of the game, but I don't know what this place seems familiar means. But yeah, that didn't help me at all. The one thing that is helping me though is this rock. I mean, I know exactly what this rock is from. I believe this is from God of War. The stone and lettering is very specific and I knew it was God of War. The only thing that kept me from being certain that it was God of War was the character had a sword and a shield, and also how tall the character was. Surely it would be very easy to get a character with an axe. Let's analyze the environment here. The God of War does start in a foresty area. This one starts in a forest but there's fireflies. God of War doesn't have fireflies. I feel like fireflies is a hint in some way. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just what the map came with as like a preset. I'm not too sure. The character is small though, but Kratos did use a shield as well. So did he make him small intentionally? I'd like to say he did. These are the things that you need to think about when trying to guess a game, because there are a lot of games that use similar concepts, but it's one defining feature that will make you guess what the actual game is. A small character, sword and shield.
Sword and shield.
Zelda? Like the old game Zelda? Not current, I know, like, obviously not, but I know Zelda, like Link used to be small and he does use a sword and a shield. But maybe Shadow of the Colossus? Wait, no, he just uses a sword in that game. The people I paid would also be using 3 assets, so what I see might not be completely reliable. Maybe the environment of the actual game is just around nature, so he used a forest. Anything can really change your answer if you think about it too much. There's just some doubts in me that are like, I don't know if it is God of War or not, if he's like, if that was supposed to be there and he meant to do that intentionally, or if it's a clue for something else and he just used it as a prop. I don't know. I'm not totally confident, I'm like 90% sure, but I'm gonna go with God of War, because otherwise if it is God of War, and I don't say it is God of War, then I'm gonna feel so stupid, because the clue is right here. So even though I wasn't 100% sure, I locked in God of War as my answer. So now we're on the final game, and this one was tough, at least for me. Okay. Oh, we got music, so we're just like piling stuff on top of each other. I had no idea what I was looking at because I had never played anything like this before in my life. I haven't played this myself, definitely not. But I've seen it on like an ad, I'm pretty sure. But because I've only seen it on an ad, I don't know the title of it. I was certain that I had seen it on an ad before, but knowing that didn't help me at all. What was I gonna do with that information? Maybe he trolled me and this wasn't even a real game. I was so lost. Very simple game. You're just making a tower, piling stuff on top of each other, cubes, colors. We need to analyze like every single part of this game here. The fact it was a simple game made me believe it was a simple name as well. I was just hoping that the name of the game was just the objective that you had to do. Color tower? Nah. I did say to make it like a simple version of the game, but like how much more complicated could it be? If that makes sense. Maybe there's levels in the other one. Oh, I made it. I made it. Okay. As closer I was getting, I noticed I just started panicking. The thing that just kept reaching out to me was tower. Just keep making a tower in this game, so. Tower. No, that makes no sense. Tower. Yeah, tower. I'm just gonna say tower. I was trying to think of anything at this point, just to try and get 3 out of 3. But in the end, I locked in tower. Who would call a game tower? I don't know. That was my best guess. So these are all of my guesses, and now it's time to see what the answers actually are. So the first one I'm sure many of us guessed, and this one is, as I suspected, Flappy Bird. Who would have guessed? The answer was indeed Flappy Bird. It was so obvious, but it was nice to play a game similar to Flappy Bird again, and get reminded why I hated that game. The second game was the one I was on the fence about, and it was the one I had to triple check to make sure I was going to pick God of War. The answer for game 2, the 3D one, is... No. Zelda? Are you serious? The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I got thrown off so hard I was in shock. I was having an out of body experience. I said it so many times, but I said it like twice. But why did he put the rock there then? If it's I have no words. I was so confused why there was a God of War asset in a simplified version of a Zelda game, and genuinely I was so sad. But yeah, it makes so much sense now. Like the small person, the sword and the shield, the God of War rock being there, yeah, that makes sense too. Why? Damn, I'm actually kind of sad about that one. Julio Dev really made sure there would be a plot twist in this one. Maybe that clue at the start of the game gave you guys a clue that you needed, but because I had never played it, I had no idea about it, so. Now this final game, the one I had no clue about, the one I knew I was most likely going to get wrong unless I somehow guessed the exact title just by pure chance. The name of this one is... The game you played is the replica of Stack. Okay. Like I said, a very simple name. Unfortunately, that word didn't come into my head when I was guessing it, but it definitely wouldn't have been impossible to guess. The game was made by the gaming company Ketchup and has over 50 million downloads. Okay, damn, okay. Were you able to guess? No, I wasn't, because I have not played this game in my life. So I only managed to get 1 out of 3, which is lower than I expected. I went into this feeling confident and left feeling confused, lost, bamboozled. It was rough. Let me know if you guys managed to get them all right, and if not, what were your guesses? I really enjoyed doing this, and hopefully I can do it again in the future, because this was a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. My story.